Greetings and welcome to April 12th, 2022, and it's a beautiful day in paradise, 40 something degrees outside and a light snow a little bit ago. We had snow last night and it's middle of April. That's weird. Anyway, today we're going to talk about smart objects. So hopefully we'll be able to show you something new. If not, then we'll refresh a little bit and go from there. So let's go ahead and share screen. And I'm going to do, let's just go straight to Photoshop to go. And you can all see my screen right now, I hope.
Yep.
Cool. Let me get rid of that one and hit that one. And just to let you know, in June 5th to 12th, we'll be teaching a Photoshop 0 to 60 in a week class at West Coast School. There's also several other classes going on, but this is the most important one to me because I got to fill up my class so I can teach the class. Basically, you're going to learn from very beginner to some advanced stuff. So it should be a fun week for us. So anybody that wants to sign up, contact Professional Photographers of California at ppconline.com, or you can go to westcoastschool.com or call 1-800-439-5839. But wait, don't call now because Mel's on the phone right now or on the Zoom right now, so you don't want to call. Okay, don't save that. Goodbye. And I don't want that one. I'll save that later. Okay, smart objects are something that's really cool. I've already cut him out all by his lonesome on the mountain just for fun. I'm going to make a copy of them, Command J. The top layer, I'm going to make a smart object. There's several ways to do it. Number one, you can click on the drop down menu on the right hand side. It looks like a stack of pancakes. Click on that, go down to Convert to Smart Object. You can right click on the blue area there, go down to Convert to Smart Object. You can go up to Layer, Smart Objects, Convert to Smart Object. Or you can go to Filter, Convert for Smart Filters. So I'll just do that because that's the last one. And yep. So he is now a smart object. So I'm going to do something really weird here. I'm going to turn him off, go to the next layer down, and go Command or Control T to free transform. And why is it looking like that? Oh, because it's cropping off at his head. Okay, I'm not too bright today. I'm going to shrink his picture down. All the way down to the little bitty thing in the bottom right hand corner. And you can see a little speck right here. Somewhere down there. There he is. And then I'm going to bring him back up. So Command or Control T and bring him back up to full screen again. When I let go and rasterize or finalize it, you can see it's just a little bit blurry, pixelated, and gnarly. So let's make him go away. Click on this one, which is a smart object. Command or Control T. Do the same thing. Take them all the way down to spec. In fact, I'm going to make them even smaller down there. And you can see how small I made them down there. And then Command or Control T again. Drag them back up. Hit Enter. And look at the difference between smart object and a not so smart object. And then you ask, well, why wouldn't you always use a smart object? The problem is it takes up a lot of room memory-wise. A smart filter we'll get into in a little bit. Smart object is the layer, and with the smart filter, it just goes on a smart object so you can refix it later. So let's go ahead and get rid of layer one. So we'll just make it smaller. And what I want to do is I'm going to take the background and I'm going to do a little trick real fast. Let's go to our object selection tool, which is W, and it's going to turn him a beautiful color of blue in just a second, or better yet, we'll just do it faster way. Let's Command or Control click on the selection that I had, and that selects that outline. So you just Command or Control click on your icon right here, and it selects him. We'll go down here, turn him off, and then what I want to do is I'm going to fill him. So I'm going to come on, quit playing with me. Right click, go to Content Aware Fill. And within moments, he's gone. I'm going to keep these guys in here. So Option or Alt click and paint all the background in there. So it fills in the whole crowd very nicely, I hope. And it's good enough for what I'm planning on doing. So I'm going to click OK. And should take him out, I hope. There we go. So Command D to deselect that. The reason I'm not worried about having a perfect selection or a perfect fill there is I'm going to go to Filter, Blur Gallery, Path Blur. And I am going to crank up the spread all the way max. And it takes quite a while to do this. Let's take it back a little ways. And let's go ahead and hit OK. Just doing something weird here like I do. Turn him back on. And that's kind of something different. I mean, it looks like the background's being blurred out. And it's not quite perfect selection because you got a little bit of the seat of his pants there. But it makes a little bit of a difference in the image. I mean, it's just something unique. So let me close this guy out and we'll open up a new one. And let's go with this guy. Well, this is my friend that I met at the zoo. Shot it with my cell phone through glass and it came out nice and sharp for me. So I'm kind of happy with that image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him a smart object. And there's a couple of ways. Right now it's set as a background layer and it's locked. So if I just right click, convert to smart object, it will unlock the layer and convert him to a smart object. Or you can make another layer and have it a smart object, which is the same as going to convert to smart filters. As you can see, it's grayed out. The reason why it's grayed out is because it's already a smart object. So let's pick a filter to go play with. Let's go with, well, so you can see it really easy. We'll do Gaussian blur. And I'm going to go 103 pixels. Whoa, that's pretty gnarly, huh? And then I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to use my paintbrush, B for brush, and I'm going to, let's go with red so you can really see it. And then I'm going to go with a little bit of blue. And you can see that. And then I decided, oh man, I need to fix my filter. I kind of screwed up a little bit. So all I have to do is double click on Gaussian blur, take the blur down. It's still a little soft, but you can see the difference. Even after I did all that, you can see the difference. So the smart filters, you can go in and you can redo, or if you want, you could turn them on and off.
Michael, there was a question from Janine in the chat box about what's the difference between a smart filter and a smart object.
The smart object is the layer. The smart filter basically is the same. It goes to the layer. So if I put a smart filter on layer 1, so right now I go up to filter, convert for smart filters, and you can see now I can go in and redo a filter. So I will go to filter. I'll just re-hit Gaussian blur, and we'll take it up to 132 pixels. It gives me a weird light, but it didn't affect this Gaussian blur. So I'll take this one, double click on this one, and we'll go way up on that. And then I'll go back to here, and I changed my mind. I want to do 4 pixels. And then I want to change this down to 1 pixel. So you can see you can adjust your smart filters or smart object. Smart object is the layer, smart filter is the filter, but it's the same thing. So does that answer your question, Jeannie?
Yeah, I was just I had asked the question when you first went and made your object a smart filter.
Okay.
I thought, well, that's different. So I didn't know, but now I see that how you're applying the smart filters. That makes a lot of sense.
And there's some filters that won't accept a smart filter. Very few anymore. They've been working on them. Lens blur. You can't do a lens blur with the smart object. See if there's any others that are left. The render, well, that's on this layer, so you can't do anything there. Sharpens are good. Stylize is good. High pass, everything else is good. I believe the Nick collection can also do smart filters. So I just clicked on it, see what happens. A little slow, but it'll do it. And it tells you identified an active layer that is a smart object, will now operate as a smart filter. The brush button will be deactivated and the effect will be applied to the current layer. Okay, cool. So let's go to, get rid of that. Whoa, something's changed here. Why is that? Oh, well, we'll just go with it. There we go. Click OK. Locks it in. And now it applies it, instead of adding a new layer like Nick normally does, it added a filter to the smart filters.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's things you can do with it. You need to play with it and have fun and just play around. I mean, that's what it's all about. Let me close this one out real quick. And then we'll go back to bridge. You guys can't see bridge, but that's okay. Let's go with this one. It should pop into camera raw so you can see it. And I just updated camera raw, so boom. So here we go. Same thing again. This is him. There's a couple of ways to open this as a smart object. You can hold the shift key down, and on the bottom right where it says open, hold the shift key down, it says open object. You can also go to your the bottom of the menu here and pick out how you want to open it, and you can open it as an object in there as well. So let's go ahead and open it as an object. And it's 207 megabytes. So let me go back to bridge, and I'm going to open this as a regular, not an object. Open, open, open. Thank you. And this says it's same size, which is weird because it's smart object will add up in a hurry. So I've hit Command or Control J. Command or Control J, it goes up to 400 megabytes. And if I hit Command J on this one, which is make a new layer, 413 megabytes. That's bizarre because normally it eats up a lot of memory when you start adding layers. And
Where are you saying how many megabytes it is?
okay, you could probably, I don't know if you can see it down in this area, the bottom left.
Oh, okay.
Can
Yeah.
everybody see that?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. And you can change that too, by the way. You can change your resolution. You can change how it looks. There's all kinds of stuff you can change down there as well. So, and if you right click on it or click on the document down there, it tells you width 7,360 pixels. And then here it's the same, it should be the same. Yep, 7,360 pixels. So it's the same size to start off with. Right now I have the brush tool selected. I cannot paint on the brush on the current layer because it is a smart object. So what I have to do is double click on it and it reopens it in Camera Raw. If I wanted to paint on it, go on this one and probably do the same thing. Okay. Now I can do different things. I can't paint on it, but I can open it up in Camera Raw. It goes back to mama. So how do I get around that? Well, right click and create a new smart object via copy. You can see create new smart object via copy. Click on that. And so this is a smart object off of here, but it doesn't cry back to mama. So when you change this one, it's still going to do the same thing. Okay. I thought it would do different. Because if I make a change, let's say on this middle one here, I'm going to change his jersey to a different color. So let's go ahead and add hue and saturation color. And we're going to select the blue, change the color. We're going to change the color. Come on, you can do it. Why are you not doing it?
Turn off your top layer.
Somebody's smarter than me. I won't mention Dwight's name, but if something's not going right, first thing you do is you look at the toolbar across the top, then you look at your layers panel and figure out why it's not doing that. So now we got him. There we go. Nice pink color. And then I'm going to put on a layer mask, B for brush, and basically paint out everything that shouldn't have changed colors. Really fast. I'm not taking my time. Normally what I would do is make him a separate layer to do that with, but there we go. And we're all set. And I'm going to turn this layer off. And you notice that the change still applies to the bottom layer because you have a layer mask on. Let's try clipping mask. Okay. Well, Dwight, being my boss, says, well, I don't like that pinkish purplish color. I want it green. So we'll go back into the hue and saturation layer. You can see that it's left it where it was. So now we can go find, there you go, green. And now we're going to have to paint out his body because it changed the color on his arms and face, glove. And the mound is kind of funky color, so we'll paint that out. And that's how fast you can change things using smart objects. So let's take that out, drag it down, say goodbye, go to camera raw again. And I'm going to go to my masking tool, go to radial gradient. And I'm going to reverse it. So I'm going to invert the gradient, drop the exposure down, which is very obvious. Click OK. Obviously, you would not do this in real life or for print competition because the judges will scream and yell at you. But you notice that it did both layers, but not the one we did as a copy. So this one was a direct copy of the bottom layer. This one, we did the smart object via copy. So it didn't affect that one. And if I made changes to this one, it wouldn't affect the other one. So we'll do the same thing, only in reverse. And we'll do radial gradient really quick. We're going to make him go super bright. Click OK. So he's bright, but there's not a darkness around. But he's not bright and there's a darkness around him. It didn't affect the other layers. If I did the same thing, hit a Command J on here, and I decided to do the same thing I just did, we'll do the radial mask. And then exposure. Let me try that over again. Cancel. Yes. Open it up back in camera raw. And I'm going to go into my radial mask. Thank you. No mask is selected. Oh, it's already got a mask on it. So we'll do the opposite with it. And to change or invert the mask, you can hit X on the keyboard, like exchanging the colors on your brushes, or you can just click on this button right here. So we'll click OK. Give it a second to render. Give it a second to render. And now you got all three layers doing the same thing. It's confusing at first, especially when you do smart objects. Let me close that, don't save. This is the original raw image. So we added a layer on top, we'll make it a smart object. Right click, convert to smart object, it's converted. Now I want to paint it, so I hit B for brush, I have blue going. I can't do anything with it right now, so I double click on the icon, which will open it up, open up the smart object in a separate file. B for brush, paint over it, and we'll say, okay, that works for me. So I'll close this file. It asked me to save it. Save it. I should have made it smaller before I did that, but that's okay. Closing and saving. When you're working with Zoom, Photoshop wants to play really slow. Okay, so the top layer is the smart object. The bottom layer is the blank one. And you see, when I saved it, it painted over the top of him, but I don't want that. And I don't know if I can take them out or not, but we'll see. And what that will do is take out what I painted. And the way to, what I'm doing right now is I'm holding down the tilde key, which I'll show you what it is in just a second. We'll close this and save it. Close, save. I'll show you the tilde key in a second. Close, save, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. There we go. So the original, still got a little blue remnant up there that I didn't take all the way off, but it takes it back to normal. Let's show you a tilde key real quick. And I'll fill this with white, Command backspace, because that's my backspace color. T for type. Make a type box. And we're going to do this with Arial, really big. And I'm going to hit the tilde key, which is that one, or if you hit the shift key, that's the key. It's right next to the 1. So if you look on your keyboard, to the left of the 1 is the tilde key. So if you just hold, when you're in the brush tool, if you just hold the tilde key, B for brush, and I can't do any brushing on here because it's a text layer. But if I brush something on here, and then I hit the tilde key and backspace, it turns it into an eraser tool is what it does. So that's just one quick shortcut. Also, you can use the back of your Wacom pen and do the same thing. You can erase it out. And then at our convention this weekend, we took a shot, Command A, select them all. We had people walking around inside the lobby, playing, having fun. So what I'm going to do is go to Tools and Bridge. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Good. I don't want you to see it. I'm going to load files into Photoshop layers out of Tools and Bridge. And it'll take a second. Hi, Dave. And it went faster at the convention, actually.
Remember, you resized them all before you did all this at convention. You resized them.
Well, I took them out of the raw files like this. They loaded faster at convention, but I did make them smaller, which I'm going to do in a second. Wait for the last, I got 9 layers that we did. And there we go. Those are all the layers put together. So I'm going to go to crop and I'm going to go to 6x4. So 4x6, hit the arrow right up there. I have presets in my crop tool, 4x6, 5x3, 5x4, 5x7, 8x10, 16x20, 11x14, and my proof and yearbook crops. Those are all presets for me, so I don't have to reset the tools every time. So I'm just going to crop it. And even the crop tool is taking a long time, but that's okay. We got plenty of time to spare. Just have to be patient. And I'm going to select all the layers. So I'm going to select the top layer, hold my shift key, select the bottom layer, and you see they all went blue. And I'm going to go to edit, auto align layers. Auto works perfectly. And what it does, it takes the things that are in each of the layers that are going to be similar and lock them all together. And it was really good because I was on a tripod, so there's no change at all. Let's Command Z that. And I'm going to take this layer, Command T, which is free transform. I'm going to tweak it off about like that. And then you can see what it does. So we'll do all the layers again. Select the top one, shift, select the bottom one, edit. Well, I'm going to show what it looks like first. So Let's do, I think it was this layer here that we did, right? No. There we go. That's how far off this layer is. So you know that we're off a layer. So we'll go to edit, auto align layers, let it do auto, and you'll see in a second a checkerboard at the edge of the image. No, you won't. Okay, make a liar out of me. But it auto align that layer. And if you look, you can see a little bit of checkerboard at the top. That means that layer was auto aligned. And we're going to change this to a smart object. Right click, convert smart object. It does all of them, puts them into one file. So if I double click on the smart objects that's up there now, it'll show you there's that many layers in the smart object, which is weird to me, but it is. And then we will go to layer, smart objects, stack mode, and to median. And just like that, you have a nice clean image. Now the trick to this is to shoot the images like a minute apart so that there's less chance of people randomly walking through there. Here's first image, second image, third image, fourth. And then when you have your final product, everybody's gone. There's not even ghosting in this one, which is really cool. I was surprised. The trick is to space it out so there's time for people to move. And what it does, it takes whatever's stationary in there, it takes a majority of the images and says, okay, this cash register right here is supposed to be there. This coffee machine is supposed to be there. This table is supposed to be there. The people that are running around, moving around are not. So if you have to shoot a building that's occupied, this is the easiest technique to do. And you do it as a smart object and you can change it if you have to or want to. So any questions on that one? Going once, going twice. Gone. So that's how easy a lot of that is. Basically, a smart object, when you're playing with the layers, you may have to close and save before it takes effect on when you're doing with another layer. So play with it, have fun with it, enjoy it, and go from there. Any questions, comments? Going once, going twice?
Yeah, what was that last thing that you did that you took? I've done it before, but I forgot what it was that you did where you actually got rid of the people. I missed it when you just said it a few minutes ago.
Okay, let me share screen one more time and we'll go back to Photoshop.
Just the command and where do you find it?
Yeah,
'Cause I know the process. I've just forgotten where it's at.
let me open this up really quick. And well, what you do is you go to layer down to smart objects, and then it goes down to stack mode. You can also, in fact, let's do this one and this one. We'll just open up two real fast. Load files in Photoshop layer. Load layers. And we're going to crop it 4:6 to make it smaller so it's easier to work with, from 260 megabytes way down. And we're going to go to auto align layers. So you go to edit, auto align layers, click OK. It goes that fast. Then we're going to go to the way I just did it was layer down to smart object. So I need to convert it to a smart object. Then again, layer down to smart objects, down to stack mode, down to median.
Median. Okay, that's
So,
what I missed.
If you want to screenshot that, go ahead and take a screenshot and remind yourself of it.
Okay.
Okay, there's another
Okay.
way in scripts. Load into a stack, which we already did. Go to statistics, stack mode median, add open files. You have to do something first. You have to save them before they can be merged. And then you go to median, then click on OK, and it'll do the same thing.
Okay, thank
So
you.
let's go back, Command Z. See if I can do it this way. File, scripts, statistics, and open files. Yeah, it won't let me do it without. Anyway, that's another way of doing it as well. So, any other questions?
As always, stellar.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me stop recording so you can ask your questions now.